What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Cub Kuker Supernatural Podcast. My name is Jacob Kuker, but my friends call me Cub, and you should too. I'm very excited today to bring you a pretty rad message with a good friend of mine, TruthSeekah. He is going to be on in just a couple of minutes. Today we're bringing you a message entitled Something or Other around extraterrestrial religions. What does that mean? What is an extraterrestrial religion? And is every religion in some form or fashion affected by extraterrestrial activity? I think the answers we're going to find today might be shocking, mind-opening, and certainly challenging to our average everyday faith. So I hope that you guys have an open mind and open heart. Know that we approach everything on this channel with an open heart and open mind, with all love, light, and respect to every walk of faith, tradition, religion, race, and orientation. No matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe, what tradition you practice, who you're married to, where you do or don't go to church. We love you as long as you're here in love and light. And with that said, we're going to be adding TruthSeekah here in just a couple of minutes. I will check and see if he's on. I do not see that he's on yet. So what this is going to entail today is I'm going to get into a bunch of different verses and look at like the very real, weird, literal side of all of these biblical texts. We're going to look at even some Hindu texts. Because there are Hindu flying machines. And these flying machines, in fact, I'm looking it up right now. It's one of the first things that comes up here, called a Vimana. The Vimana are flying palaces or chariots described in Hindu texts and Sanskrit epics. The Pushpaka Vyama is the most quoted example. So I'm horrible at speaking other languages, guys, so forgive me for that. But literally, these things are everywhere. I mean, Ezekiel's wheel inside the wheel, the watchers in the book of Enoch, Enoch going up and seeing all the mysteries of the heavens, even to the transfiguration of Jesus Christ. There are some very weird E.T. vibe things within all of these different faith traditions, which is one of my goals, one of my life missions here, is to look at the breadth of all of this, the width of it and the depth of it, and try to make sense of it as a large picture and a deeper understanding of what's really going on in our universe, what's really going on in our consciousness, and who we actually are as the human race, a collective of individuals. And that's really what I'm committed to. I'm a light worker and a mystic, and I'm very, very proud to be doing this work. Not ego pride, but pride as in I get to help the collective. I get to do this full time. I'm so, so blessed to do this full time, and I thank you guys for allowing me to do that. So I'm going to continue to look for TruthSeekah. I'm not sure how quick he'll be on. He knows we're going live here, so he should be on pretty soon. But while I wait, I do want to just kind of bring to everyone's attention that I do have a brand new offering that I'm very excited. Kind of a weird turn of events. I knew I was going to be offering some new things this year. Some really, really cool programs that we're really excited to launch. And the new one is called Charisma. I don't know if you can see the whole logo there. It's kind of stretched out. But it is a light work training course, and I didn't even have it for sale yesterday, and we have already been selling some. I've got it at a very special price right now. It's a membership, very similar to our Mythos membership. The Mythos membership is the patron community. If you love what I'm doing here and you want to support it deeper, get in touch with the community on a whole nother level. We've got a private Facebook group, a private YouTube channel with a ton of unreleased video trainings on there, as well as a live call with the community every single Saturday, which is fantastic. You guys will love it. And then if you do get Charisma right now and get in the monthly membership, you get a free Mythos membership with it. So it really doesn't make sense. Why not just do the Charisma and get access to the videos as they're released? I've posted a couple in there already today, and I'm going to be updating that all the time. It's just an ongoing course in light work. It includes video lessons, meditations, as well as challenges for our community. So you guys are going to love that. I'm already really, really vibing on it and just loving what we're doing in there. So back to what we're talking about with UFO religions. What is a UFO religion? And that's what we're going to talk with Derek today about. TruthSeekah, we're going to add him right now. You guys know when this is done. What is up, my brother?
What up, man?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I went live and I noticed my earring fell out, and I'm like, "Where's my
Oh
earring?"
no. Oh, well
I got
dang.
it.
Well, you
I got it.
find
I
your
got
earring,
it.
man.
I got
Did
it.
you? Okay, good,
I got
good.
it. Come on,
Awesome.
come on, buddy. You coming in?
Well, hey,
No?
we are first off, everybody in my audience, if you have not met TruthSeekah, go follow him. Okay, he is I would call him a Christian mystic. Is that an accurate
That's I
depiction?
think that's the best way to describe me. Yeah,
Perfect, perfect. You're also an artist and a musician. Some incredible tracks, incredible deep, deep level music. You guys want to hear somebody that is like pouring their heart out. Not like some of these artists that just put stuff out to tickle your ears. This guy goes deep, and seriously, everything I've listened to from you is like it's a soul journey, and I absolutely love that. You guys know I don't listen to any superficial music, and if I recommend it, it's deep, it's beautiful, it's a good vibe. So go check out his music as well. Everything's over at truthseekah.com, correct?
yeah,
Okay,
everything's there. Hmm.
awesome, awesome. Well, welcome, man. Thanks for doing the collab today. And I was just kind of introducing you and the concept to everyone. We're going to be talking about Hindu flying machines today, the Watchers, Ezekiel's wheel inside the wheel, the burning bush, the orbs that Abraham saw in his vision. Lots of ET vibes within religion as we know it. I mean, just to be really honest, and I think you and I often take like this esoteric side of the page, and we look at everything as kind of like a more of an internal construct, and that's awesome. But what about the literal interpretation? There's so many people that want to take the Bible and other texts very literally, and if we look at them literally, we get some very, very deep ET vibes out of them.
Yeah,
So what are your thoughts on that, man? I know we've both been vibing on that lately, so go for it.
yeah, man. I like to project myself in all of them. All the worlds, all the dimensions, because they're all real. They're all we're taught to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation and think that it's a progression, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really layers and dimensions. It's not linear. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, this happened, then this happened, and this happened. We know that with the Gospels, the four Gospels. Most Christians know that. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No, these were four different versions of one thing that happened. And they retell
Absolutely.
the story and change
Mm-hmm.
details or switch details, or you get it from a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bible itself is that, but also the Old Testament. Because we think we read Genesis, but the time we get to Ezekiel, oh, that's a long time. People have come and gone, and people have died. But why is
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel rebuking people who were fresh out of the garden,
Yeah. Yeah.
pharaohs
Absolutely.
and these kings of Egypt and those things? So yeah, and that's a disconnect I think that a lot of us have, thinking that it's further out or it's whatever, but it's all
Mm-hmm.
this one event, this one battle, this one fall, and this
Mm-hmm.
one rise. And how did Job fall?
Yes.
And,
Absolutely.
and how did these other angels fall? And
Mm-hmm.
how did you fall? And where are you
Mm-hmm.
at now? And who are you in the midst of all of that? So, um, where are you in the midst of that mentally? How'd you fall mentally?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you fall from grace in your mind? When you was a baby, listen, you was good, but they taught you some bad things. You fell away.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
came here pure. You learned how to sin, right? It was double down. You fell mentally, spiritually. You came with
Mm-hmm.
full of potential, with light in your eyes, like
Mm-hmm.
Noah. So we can take that
Yep.
in many
Yes. Yep.
different ways, astrologically, internally, and I like all of them.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
the
Yeah, and you're
literal
talking
stuff,
about that story of baby Noah that I
yeah,
did several videos on it
yeah,
recently, and again, if we look at the literal side of that, he's got literal beams of light shooting out of his eyes. You look at the esoteric side of it, is any baby's laugh not an absolute pure high vibration, just that penetrates an entire house? I mean, every baby's eyes are sparkling. Every baby's eyes are pure of light, straight from the heavens. And I mean, what a beautiful way that we can read things both of these ways. And I think people get caught in what's the right way to read it. And I've been saying lately, I don't want to be right, because Jesus didn't come to call righteous. He came to call those that are out of vibration into vibration with
Yeah.
God again. Yeah.
And staying there. Just piggybacking off of that, and me mentioning Job falling, that kind of thing. I've been in Job
Mm-hmm.
recently, and it's good to learn and to live, and then to come back and reread, these texts and stuff that are so
Mm-hmm.
near and dear to our hearts. And Job, everybody knows about Job,
Mm-hmm.
and but there's always more than meets the eye. There's
Mm-hmm.
always more to it. And so I'm reading Job now, and what we're saying about Noah, how Noah came and his eyes lit up, and he
Mm-hmm.
opened his mouth, and like he had speech and could be understood. Like the text in Job, just to be honest with you, like Job sounds like a fallen angel.
Yeah.
Job, is going through these stages of being at one level and
Mm-hmm.
then being a watcher, watching
Mm-hmm.
over his children,
Mm-hmm.
and then he lets them sin and he lets them do all types of things, but he gives sacrifice and recompense for his children. Instead of correcting his children as a real watcher or
Mm-hmm.
father should, he lets them
Yep.
do what they do instead of going down there and showing them and correcting them. And
Mm-hmm.
so Job's he falls,
Mm-hmm.
he descends to a different realm. Satan is allowed to touch the things
Mm-hmm.
around him, his body,
Yep.
his outer protection, and now he's not protected with the hedge of protection. Then he comes back in the next chapter. The council goes before um, the Lord, and they get Satan gets permission again to touch his body, his flesh and his bone. Touch that, but
Mm-hmm.
don't touch his life. Keep his life. And then the next chapter we're reading, and I'm tying this back into Job. His stature's changing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's perfect, and then he's not, because now he's complaining about birth. And you were saying, I'm tying
Mm-hmm.
this into Noah because Noah opens his eyes and brilliance and beauty and
Mm-hmm.
all of that, and there is that. But also, I believe it's Job 3. He's like, cursed is the day that I'm born. He says, why
Mm-hmm.
couldn't I stay where I was? And he
Mm-hmm.
tells you where he was. I was with the kings. I was with those who have gone before
Yep.
me. I was with them. And now I'm screaming and crying out. What does a baby do when it's the first thing out of the womb? When it breathes its breath of air, it doesn't
Yep.
rejoice and sing
Yeah.
and give counsel like Noah. No, it
Absolutely.
screams, what?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yep.
I was just with the
I was
kings.
just in perfection. Why am I? People miss that too, man. The journey of the soul. It's called the transmigration of the soul. You guys can look it up. There's a ton of allusion to it within the biblical canon. Even the 12 stones in the river, talking about like the 12 zodiac and how your soul moves through this plane of
Yeah.
existence as it's perfected. And so, like, if you think you were nothing before you were born, you wonder why people wake up, they realize they have gifts, they have a higher consciousness. It's all we're doing is remembering, guys.
Yep.
This is not
Hmm.
some, like, we don't cast magic spells or anything over us. It's like you just remembering. It's just the process of remembering and realizing the kingdom of God is within you, where you were before, and returning back to that place and bringing as many people as we can with us. Isn't that the true nature of a Messiah, a Savior, a Christ, in and of itself? Is bring as many people with you, not in a religious, dogmatic way of you got to follow this way or you're going to burn and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, come join me in the rejoicing. Come return with me. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And in Job, I love that you mentioned that, because Job was one of the books that opened my eyes to the fact that there's more of like a divine counsel. And, I think often in modern religion, we sit in a church, we hear a sermon, and it's like there's this one God character through the whole thing. But if you read it in the Greek, or you read it in the, even in the Hebrew, you're getting like a bunch of different entities within that. You get Ha-Satan in the Hebrew, you're getting Elohim, you're getting Yahweh, and there's a lot of debate over, well, it's talking about the same one in different tenses or the language or whatever. But that doesn't even really logically make sense when you start
No.
to understand the hierarchy of the heavens. So can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, man. And a few more that stand out to me recently in there. You have Job's name of his first friend that speaks to him is um, Eli. Oh my goodness, Eli Yehu, something like that. Eli Yehu.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't think of because they all sound the same. It's Eli something. I'm sorry, but I've got it
Yeah.
down. But it means God of gold. The
Mm-hmm.
God of gold. Literally, his name is the God of gold, and we know this ties into
Wow.
Anunnaki
Yeah,
because
absolutely,
later,
absolutely.
they when they ask him his name, he says, "My name is
Well,
I
so it's
am."
Eliphaz, Biliad, and Zophar are the
There you
three
go,
figures.
Elias.
Yeah.
So Elias is means God of gold. And there's
Yeah.
one place where he gives his name and he says, I am God of gold. I am is Anu Naki Eleazar, whatever.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
but the other one, later, Job's comforter, which many scholars will even tell you they believe is some type of angelic figure, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's in the mind or that come to your senses kind of thing, that your consciousness evolves
Mm-hmm.
into this. But um, 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 Elihu or Eli
Mm-hmm.
Ihu, which is his name,
Mm-hmm.
Elihu. Anytime you have El, you know it's the God of,
Yeah. Yep.
but it's the God of him, and he's coming and
Mm-hmm.
he's sharing with Job like, hey man, remember who you are, remember where you came from, like you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna go back. Like he's comforting Job to like, listen, don't cast off restraint. And Job
Yep.
is telling, like all of this is outlined in Job, man. He's saying, he's like every time Job refers to us, if you want to really trace this back and go deep, like me and you do, and many people
Yeah.
listening, they
Yeah.
want to go to the text. Like we'll tell you this, but it's fun to get lost in it. But every time Job refers to himself and everybody in the Bible, they're usually called a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like man is but a vapor, and man is nothing, or man is as the dead,
Mm-hmm.
and we think man is humans. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what it means. Every time that man is used, it's a different entity or a different type of created being. And
Mm-hmm.
so when Job's referring to himself in these first few chapters, the word man changes. It goes
Mm-hmm.
from each, which each seems to be an angel, like
Mm-hmm.
the ascended form. He goes
Mm-hmm.
from calling himself at Ish and being called at Ish to then being called Geber, I believe it is, which
Mm-hmm.
means it means a mighty one, a valiant one,
Mm-hmm.
which is like you took a step down, but you're still a judge, you're still up there. And then he's end up being called an Enosh. And we know Enosh
Mm-hmm.
was one of the sons of was it Adam and
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren of Adam, and that means mortal. And the words,
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing too is those words go vice versa because then you meet a character named Enosh. But Enosh
Mm-hmm.
means the first mortal. And then Job is like introducing himself as he's taking these steps back as he falls to earth, because it tells
Yeah.
you he falls to earth and all of that stuff's in there. But the different gods as they come, they're introduced to us by religion as people.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just
Yep.
think there's a man, or there's a man named
Yep.
this person, or a lad named this, or
Mm-hmm.
um, but no, those if you break down their names, they tell you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Mm-hmm.
god of Job. He's one of
Yep.
Job's um, ranking officers and officials, and the story is amazing. But
Absolutely.
it adds to the rest. It's all the same story.
Yep.
It's all the
Yep.
same story. It's in
And
it's
and
in
there
all of them.
this is a great place to jump into this too. So there's this ancient mystic concept. It comes from the Middle East, from the mountains in Nepal, from all of these cradle of civilization places, Samaria. You know, the Sumerian texts. This idea of avatarship or incarnation. Okay. And then there is, I want to kind of tie this into the whole extraterrestrial theory. There's a lot of you guys out there watching this. You're like, I don't believe in aliens. And there's a lot of people that are like, totally do. I totally believe in them. And you may totally believe in them. You've never seen anything like that. You may not believe in them, and you have seen things you can't explain. I literally hear that story all over the place. Like, it's like, I still don't believe in them, and I've seen them, and I don't believe my eyes. And then there's people that, like, I totally believe in them, but I've never seen anything, but I know they're real. And so this is such a weird concept, the idea that extraterrestrials, there's a couple of different ideas on this, that they are actually light beings, they are frequency beings that our modern sciences describe as wavelengths. They describe them as energies with intelligences that can manifest themselves in physical or a manifest form. There also the idea that they are us. Elon Musk has talked a lot about this, that in some timeline, some way, we have achieved this type of godhood, if you will. I don't know how much I buy into that one, but that's definitely an interesting theory of, like, what if every human on the earth has an extraterrestrial counterpart that is your higher self, that can manifest in other realms while
Yeah.
you're stuck in this vibration here. I'm just giving you guys the full gambit here, because this is really up to you to make your decision on. The other idea is there are these other extraterrestrial races, and somehow our corner of the galaxy has some sort of glitch in the matrix where it's stuck in a low vibration, just like your computer would get a hard drive that's froze up and is spinning slow and needs to go in and get fixed by the intelligent beings. That's what we're a part of right here. So whatever you believe around that, that totally ties into all of these biblical theological ideas, as well as, like I was talking about earlier before you got on, the Hindu flying machines called the Vyama.
Mm-hmm.
They're these cities that fly around. We literally see one of those in the book of Revelation, the cube of God that comes down over Israel, the new Jerusalem. Like, it's all there, man, and it's the weirdest thing. We take it esoterically, it's a lot easier to stomach. A lot of people want to take it literally, and when you really go to the literal place with it, I've got to be honest, it's kind of scary. And we always ask, is humanity really ready to meet our brothers or meet the gods? And my biggest question is, are they not so powerful and so much more of a higher consciousness? Even the angels that worship at the feet of the Godhead, are they not so powerful that they would just melt us? Think about when they came in the Bible and they're like, don't be afraid. They're even manifesting as men, and people are still afraid of them. Like,
Yeah.
there's some presence there. So speak on that. Any experiences you've had or any of your guests have had with these things, I'd love to
Yeah.
hear about it.
I have countless experiences. It's one of those things. But I want to just touch on this, what you said, to piggyback though,
Yeah.
about the people who have seen and they still don't believe,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who haven't seen but they believe. That's it.
Mm.
I've been talking about that. I've been thinking about that, but how Jesus talks about, because I've seen so much, but
Mm.
I don't know if how much of it was an actual seeing first. It was an inner knowing where you remembered.
Mm.
And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
a download, it's an idea. But I've been telling people this: cite your sources, prove your downloads,
Mm-hmm.
prove your downloads.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, I've proven with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in there. And I didn't
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
And most people get into this place where they knew telepathy was real, they knew aliens were real, but it wouldn't be in the Bible. The Bible's old, that'd be in a new
Mm-hmm.
age book. No, no, no.
Yeah.
That's everything is in there. If
Yeah.
Because you have to experience it first in order to understand what the hell that book is talking about. And we have
Absolutely.
people who have
Yeah.
not encountered any of that stuff speaking as experts on biblical alien contact, and they've
Mm-hmm.
never had regular earthly angelic contact, but they've got books
Mm-hmm.
on it. It's what we
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
It's just what we do, and we interpret it where we are. But
Yep.
the beautiful thing is Jesus says, "Blessed are you who believe and have not seen." You know inwardly,
Amen.
man, this is real. I know it's real. I haven't seen it. Nobody told
Yep.
me, but
Mm-hmm.
something in you believes, and
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like once you begin to live your life that way, and you know it. It just feels right. It sits right. It's a beautiful construct, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it brings you hope. It gives you joy. There's something in you that makes your eyes light up like Noah's did, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
think about it. Um, if you believe it, then you can move into the realm of seeing it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
where we're at right now, all of this, the energy, the expectancy, the ascension, all of it is heightened. Like,
Hmm.
because it takes expectancy for faith to even work. Jesus couldn't heal people because there was so much doubt in the cities, and he was
Yep.
rendered powerless. And he says, when the Son of Man comes back, will he find such faith on the earth? Once you
Hmm.
step into faith and believing in magic, in the supernatural, in the unknown, in beauty, and all of these things, because they've taught us to believe in bad stuff. It's not hard,
Yep.
but
Yep.
and this bad stuff is real. But
Yep.
to believe in hope and something beautiful, then you can see it.
Yep.
You can start seeing it. And so the dreams and the visions,
Hmm.
everything is real on one dimension
Absolutely.
or the other. But learning how to see it, asking to see it, and then once you ask, paying attention to the subtle nuances, because everyone has had those experiences, everyone has seen them, but they've talked us out of the magic. We gave
Yep.
our inheritance away, we gave our magic away, which is our birthright, which is our
Yep.
communication telepathically, mentally, in meditation, while you dream. Everything, when you look at the trees, when you're sitting in the sun, all of that connects us to where we came from. And
Yep.
they want to keep us out of that because that brings us power. And if we know who we are and we're giving our power back to our creator, your creator
Hmm.
hears your prayers. The
Yep.
creators show up when you speak. They are here to help and to assist, but they're not going to assist if you're not asking. So if you move
Absolutely.
into this place of like, I believe it's real. Is it real, God? God, is it? I know it seems crazy, but are
Hmm.
the angels hiding in the clouds?
Hmm.
Do they travel in the clouds? The Bible says that the cloud by day, Jesus went into a cloud. Finding all of this stuff, and you're like, what if? The pastor say, no, it's not it. It's not what it means. It's
Yep.
figuratively.
Yep.
A
Yep.
cloud because you're here today, gone tomorrow. Oh, that's all it meant? Well, why did it keep using that Hebrew word over and over? But
Yep.
once you have that, they're trying to get your attention, just so you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
You didn't come up with those thoughts. You're being awakened. You're
Yep.
remembering
Yep.
something that we, even as a species, when we fell, already knew at one point. They talked us out of our birthright. Now we
Yep.
forgot.
So I think you talked about that. I want to move away from the ET stuff just for a second because I know people are going to ask about the spirit side of this. Like, what's the difference between an ET and a spirit and all of this stuff? And I think it would be just like, what's the difference between water and ice, right? Like, it's the form it's taking. And so for me, that's kind of how I interpret all of this. Like, what's the difference between a manifest extraterrestrial angel, a son of God, or a little g God? And an actual spirit, an angel, an arc of light or energy. Even Paul talked about testing the spirits. And I read something recently within the biblical canon where it really leads me to believe that we actually can manifest spirits around us. Like we literally, if you've got a spirit of depression on you all the time and you're just manifesting that, you're going to have that dark entity following you around. If you're constantly feeding into light and you're helping heal people and bring light into the world, you're going to have those beings around you that are encouraging you and helping feed power into your mission. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're definitely someone who I would consider kind of a spiritist in that manner. You understand that a lot deeper than anyone I know. So
Yeah.
share. Yeah.
It's it is in the idea of ascension to where um we expand, where you get access to the fall is you descended, you left your first estate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. That's not bad because Job didn't like sin or whatever, right? When he came to
Mm-hmm.
earth, but he took another form. And it
Mm-hmm.
said he didn't sin with his mouth anyway. Um, but in order he couldn't go back.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
because you're in this state and you're blocked out of the different dimensions. So the
Mm-hmm.
firmament in the Bible, the firmaments, there's not just one. We're in a dome. We're in many domes.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
a dome under you. In a firmament
Mm-hmm.
blocks them off. The firmament separates the dimensions.
Yep.
You can't pass
Absolutely.
through there. You can't go up
Yep.
there. You're kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be let through.
Yep.
You have to
Absolutely.
ascend and be able to change your form into a vibrational frequency that is allowed to go there and get information. I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
to go up there in my physical body. No, you can't
Mm-hmm.
go in your physical body, sir. You have to
Mm-hmm.
ascend. You have to believe and be able to receive the information
Mm-hmm.
and show yourself faithful that, hey, he's faithful with second heaven information, third heaven. And that's how this stuff works dimensionally.
Mm-hmm.
So the beings who we call are ascended, like to which level they
Mm-hmm.
live. Earth is a place where all the light spectrums come together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything is here. The shades, the darkness, um, demons, shadows,
Mm-hmm.
it's all here.
Mm-hmm.
All of it's here. We're here in 3D. There's 2D spirits that cast on the wall, and you can see them at
Mm-hmm.
night if the
Mm-hmm.
light is out because they're a
Yep.
shadow that's darker than
Mm-hmm.
your room, and you can see
Yep.
them.
Yep.
And the same thing exists for beings that are of the light that
Mm-hmm.
travel back and forth. You just can't see them
Yep.
with your eyes. You
There's
can,
beings that you can only see when you're either in an altered state of consciousness or you're in a deep state of meditation that are not manifest as like a physical body. They're
for
what
sure,
people would consider fractal beings that are
for
kind of
sure.
emanating through. Yeah.
But I'll say this though, like you can see them with your physical eyes. You can catch them on camera.
Mm.
Um, but the light that's inside of you doesn't even care about that. Um,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
unless it's a bright light. If there's darkness inside of you, it doesn't matter what you see outside of you. You can't
Mm-hmm.
see it. It's one of those things where if you're ascending spiritually, the day star is rising in your hearts. Love is
Mm-hmm.
literally you're becoming love. You're becoming
Mm-hmm.
less attached to the narrative that we were sold.
Mm-hmm.
That any of this is real,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still here and you have to navigate, right? Until you don't, um, you become less attached, and when you become lighter, then you can you
Mm-hmm.
they'll you see them and
Absolutely.
you can catch
Yep.
them on camera, and so yeah, they're seen in different spectrums and colors of light, even as the rainbow,
That's awesome.
um,
That is
and
awesome.
they able to show themselves to you. Um, but they're already showing themselves to you. And
Mm-hmm.
if you just look for the grandiose thing and not look for the mundane, you've
Mm-hmm.
already missed it.
Absolutely.
So that's where
Absolutely.
the big experiences come from,
Mm-hmm.
is finding beauty in the mundane,
Mm-hmm.
in the sun, for sure, in
Mm-hmm.
the grass, in the dirt, in the dust.
Yep.
To God, none of those things are mundane.
That's
To
awesome.
the
Yep.
mystic, to the
Mm-hmm.
Buddhist, none of those
Mm-hmm.
things are mundane. They're beautiful and
Yep.
they're complex. Where
Mm-hmm.
did they go? Where were they before they came here, and what do they do? And insects and birds,
Mm-hmm.
like everything is a shadow. If
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you
Yep.
think it's supposed to look like a person come to you,
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen an angel that looked like a humanoid. I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Only in my visions, inwardly,
Yep.
just silhouettes kind of thing. But um, for us here to be able to get access there, you have initiations and tokens and handouts all around you. But
Mm-hmm.
you've called it mundane. You've called it common. It's the
Yep.
sun. The sun's demonic. Catholics worship the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Catholics worship the
Absolutely.
sun. I'm telling you right now, beings are traveling back and forth from dimensions to two different suns that I know of. The sun that we look up, that our spirit came from,
Mm-hmm.
they're coming out of it, and you can see them. Like we
Mm.
got them on camera.
That's
They've
awesome.
traveled faster than the speed of light. You have to slow the footage down like 99% to see in a millisecond. There's wars
Wow.
and fights and they're
Yep.
sending. They're
Yep.
coming into your body. They're coming
Mm-hmm.
out of your mouth. When you
Yep.
pray, I feel it right now. You get chills. You can tell when they're around you. And when you got the light set up just right,
Mm-hmm.
you can catch them coming out of you and going into you.
Mm-hmm.
Little specks of
Yep.
light particles, angels that'll show up and manifest. And Jesus
Mm-hmm.
says, I can call down 10,000 angels right now. I just choose not to do this magic
Mm.
trick in front of you.
Yeah,
Like, because
yeah,
there's a responsibility. But yeah,
absolutely.
everything is magical. And when you can see it on the mundane, then you can look at the sun and say, I know y'all are up there. Let me see you. Hey,
Amen. Amen.
I'm a servant. I'm a son.
Yep.
I'm one of y'all. Let me see you. And you
That's,
can
that.
block the sun out and you'll see him traveling back and forth from heaven to earth, just like Daniel did
Yep.
and many of the
Yep.
other disciples.
Yeah, and so it was. I think the end of 2022. Maybe September ish. I got introduced to the concept of light codes and like that upgrading your consciousness. And I started meditating in the sun rather than meditating in my room here. Go out into the sun, get out of the studio, go sit in the yard, go to the park, whatever. And I started to see the sun acting out, if you will, which is the weirdest thing. And at the time, like, I started to believe in this, and then I started experiencing it. And I want to talk about some of the pitfalls of this in a second, what the world's going to try to tell you, and some of the labels they're going to put on you guys and me and you, and you've experienced them all, and so have I at this point. But I'm seeing like these almost like little solar flashes, and then I'll see different colors reflecting off of like the spider web and the wood pile, and like where it really catches your eye. It's like this really mystical place, almost like you're, for lack of a better word, like a little microdose type thing happening, but you're completely sober just watching this happen. And it's the weirdest thing, and I questioned my own sanity when it started happening. But the more I understand what these frequencies, these entities actually are, how they're interacting in all the light waves all around us and through us, and then I started to look into the Hindu concept of God. And that's when I started to really see the message of Jesus Christ come alive. And what a weird way to find it, right? Like, most people will tell you, oh, no, don't look there. They've got all these different gods and stuff. And it's like, all those different gods are different avatars and manifestations of
Yeah.
these other attributes of our higher self and us as the gods. That's is my interpretation of it. And then their concept of the higher god is Brahman. And then the
Yeah.
consciousness of that is the Atman. And then you get down, and those concepts are literally exactly what Jesus taught. He said, "My Father is in spirit and in truth," and that Brahman that penetrates through all things. It's the energetic expression through
Hmm.
everything. Makes it just makes everything come alive. And
Yeah.
one of my good sisters here on TikTok introduced me to the idea of light codes, and when I started meditating in the sun, it's like a whole nother level,
Yeah.
man. And I know you know that. I just, for
I'm
me,
addicted to it,
as
man. I get
yeah,
sad
yeah,
when I don't see the sun out, you know?
yeah, yeah. You ever meditate in the sun when it's cloudy and then it opens up for the time you're
Mm.
meditating and shines on
For a
you like
moment.
it's, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for a moment.
beautiful,
We've
man.
done it a couple
Beautiful.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so some of the pitfalls of that you can speak to them too, but I know we got a lot of people on here that are more advanced in spirituality. We got people that are just now deconstructing.
Yeah.
23 is your year to just go, wait a minute, I don't know. I'm ready to
Hmm.
experience. If I got to get uncomfortable, that's fine. And I want to talk about the message of Jesus, the message of Buddha, the message of Krishna, everything that's just been dialed back. It's been dialed back into religion. We're talking about messages that were hard rock, dialed up to 11, face melting spirituality here. Just amazing, amazing concepts that set you free, put you into your purpose. And all of these institutions, I don't care what it is, you can look at every single construct. They just dialed it back into a controllable, manageable system that we call religion today. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about religion. I'm just saying we basically stop there. We go sit
Yeah.
in a pew and we go, well, this is the interpretation. Pastor said this. And if I had this
Yeah.
experience, it's either demonic, new age, whatever. So share with the class, like, how do you battle that? Because it really is a battle.
Yeah. It is a battle and we're in the middle of it. Literally, we're in the middle of like many different battles and peoples and things like that. And Paul says, become all things to all men so that you can win some. And so to remember those who are still in, religion or they have
Mm-hmm.
never, experienced this kind of, from this perspective. So um I found such beauty in Christ and in religion and what they offer, and for me to still be able to honor that beauty, even though I
Mhm.
disagree with so much. There's nobody that I agree with 100%, but
Mhm.
it is up to me to be able to find the beautiful things in them and double down on that because that's what Jesus did to everybody he met,
Mhm.
and he was a supernatural being who came into
Mhm.
who he was
Yep.
destined to be, and he realized who he was. So
Yep.
um, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to see past the mundane or the outer shell, and not to see things as people say they are, but see things the way that God sees them. And religion,
Mhm.
you know, they do a lot of good,
Mhm.
but it's like elementary for a lot of people. It's a training wheels, and you don't stay in the third grade forever.
Amen.
You don't.
Yep.
So the beautiful things that they're bringing to the table, great, so much, so much. They're doing
Yep.
so much good. But does the bad outweigh the good? Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe because
Yep.
you give up one stronghold, you give up one bondage for another. The
Mhm.
word religion, or the Latin word for religio
Mhm.
is to bind or to hold back.
Mhm.
But in some cases, it's a good. Paul said, "Listen, the law is a schoolmaster, man, to lead people to
Mhm.
Christ. Because some people need to
Yep.
be bound and held back. Some
Mhm.
people need to be told not to kill.
Mhm.
Some people need to
Right.
be
Right.
told, don't steal. That doesn't belong to you. Other
Mhm.
people who have no religion at all, just by nature, are doing the things written of in the laws." And Paul
Mhm.
goes into
Mhm.
detail on that. So I honor the good that religion's doing, but um, they the love aspect, the
Mhm.
love, the relationship aspect is what we need, and they do a
Yep.
great job of making God personal and making
Mhm.
God reachable and friendly and loving
Mhm.
and a father. That's not given to you. Saying,
Mhm.
the unit calling it the universe. The universe don't give a damn about you, right?
Right.
Making it God personable, and that's
Yeah.
what I love that, and I salute that from Christianity.
Absolutely.
But people are having these experiences in that, and you can't. It only takes you so far
Mhm.
until you're until it doesn't,
Yep.
and then you have to make a choice. And
Yep.
everybody has to be there one way or the other. And this is Christianity or this is Islam. It's the same thing. Or
Mhm.
Buddhism.
Mhm.
Like the wheat and the tares come up together. Those stories and morals aren't just for Christians. Like
Yeah.
Christians didn't even write that stuff, is what we're finding, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the same thing that somebody who is a spirit-filled Buddhist
Mhm.
they are remembering who they are, and they're around a bunch of carnal Buddhists who just are Buddhists by religion,
Right.
or they're
Right.
Hindus by religion.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, Hindus, not hey, listen, a Native American, that
Yep.
don't make you spiritual. That don't make
Absolutely.
you in touch with
Yep.
God.
Yep.
And so the wheat and the tares come up together. The person that God is rapturing up and teaching is sitting on the pew next to the person who's they're just there because it's the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
so we're
Absolutely.
coming up sharing experiences, interpretations of the Bible. We're experiencing the things they're reading about.
Amen. Amen.
And
Yeah,
but when
we got a lot of people that would rather practice Netflix than meditation. You know, they go home after work. I get comments all the time. I don't have time for that. Must be nice to meditate all day. I don't meditate all day. I make videos all day. I work just like the next guy. I have to do my spiritual practice in my off time, in the early morning, in the
yeah,
afternoon, the
all right,
evening.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
it's
like
hard, ain't
it's
it?
yeah, absolutely.
We love our work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like we love what we do.
Yep.
And I've spent a lot of time hating what I do, And so to be in a place where you love what you do, it's
Yes.
work, 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 work. But work
Yep.
and purpose are together. It's like it's very in family
Yep.
and self care. Man, it's not easy to balance.
Mhm.
Definitely is not,
Mhm.
especially right now. The energy's ramped up, but we have to show people how to do it
Yeah,
because many other people
absolutely.
are going through this as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, we've had lots of solar flares. Today's 111 portal. Just to explain
Drop
portals for
into it.
everybody, I want to do a short video on this later, but and I know you know more about this as well. numbers are important to us, and it's not really so much, when the number is, it's the fact that the collective is experiencing it. And it's, again, it's not a marker in time necessarily. It's more of the collective focus on today is January 11th, 111. That number is a very important number, especially within spirituality. It's a balancing number. It's a number that you need rest afterwards. And so, can you kind of share on, especially people that meditate, get really hooked up to portals. And I think that they are a beautiful thing. And it's not like, guys, we're talking about literally going in the yard and casting a portal and stepping into another dimension. These are really numeric opportunities, collective agreement opportunities to take steps within your own higher self. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with trying to figure it out to return to it. The numerology is huge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the different gates, when the gates or the doors or the portals, the Bible uses all that terminology, and
Mm-hmm.
and they understood this. And so this isn't something new. This isn't new age. This was understood. Hey, we move with the moon. Our bodies are in
Absolutely.
sync with the moon. Our spirits are in sync with the sun. Let's move accordingly. We're not
Mm-hmm.
just one or the other. We got water. The water, the moon keeps track of the water, tells the water
Yep.
what to do, how far it can come. The
Mm-hmm.
sun, the spirit, the light, and we are a mixture of both. We have both in us.
Mm-hmm.
So the ancients understood the sun, and
Mm-hmm.
they um, Christians get into this place of we mock and we name call once we get woke, and we call them pagan sun worshipers.
Mm-hmm.
The word honor and worship is the same word in the scriptures. To
Mm-hmm.
honor someone, to worship someone, but we don't have that connection. We think, oh, and so they say, like you said about the Hindus, oh, they worship 1,000 gods. No, they
Mm-hmm.
respect and they
Yeah,
salute. The Bible tells you salute
absolutely.
them.
Yep.
Salute. Say thank you. Say, hey, good morning. Good
Yep.
morning, son. Good. Hey, try it and see what happens. See what happens to your heart. See
Yep.
once you start showing honor and respect, and you'll find that other people, beings, insects, demons, angels, that start honoring
Yep.
you.
Yep.
When you start, because you're a mirror to everything that's inside of you, but now you're at war with everything outside of you, right?
Yep.
So all that's back to the sun. All of this is ancient and it was hidden
Mm-hmm.
from us. And we see
Mm-hmm.
the iconography, the halos
Mm-hmm.
and imagery and coronas and all of that in the Catholic art.
Yep.
All their pagan
Absolutely.
sun worshippers. I mean, I
Yep.
actively attacked that when I got woke and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. And it's the things that we attack that God is hiding in.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's not Catholic. Maybe you're not the woke Illuminati Catholics are doing this. Maybe it's the
Right.
Mormons you
Right.
think are the ones that are the bad guys.
Yeah,
The
we just
Mormons
keep
aren't the
pointing
bad guys.
fingers down the line, like, yeah,
Like
until you realize
whoever
that
it
finger is
is,
pointed right back at you. Yeah.
they got some gems, man. They got something
Yeah.
you need,
Amen.
and you have
Amen.
to humble
Yep.
yourself as a child
Yeah.
without all
Yeah.
these preconceived notions and those things. And there's something beautiful in there. I
Mm-hmm.
said all that to say we got to get back to the sun. We
Mm-hmm.
got to get
Mm-hmm.
back to the moon. We got
Mm-hmm.
to get back to the stars. We got to get back to
Yep.
the water, the vibrations, the feelings, because the ancients knew it.
Yeah.
They knew in the scriptures,
Yep.
hey, every 7 days, we are told to take a Sabbath, a day of rest. And
Yes.
every new moon and every full moon, we're
Mm-hmm.
resting. This is a Sabbath. What is a Sabbath?
Yep.
We even whatever your idea of a Sabbath, whatever that is like it's probably miscued. Like, oh, it's a day
Yep.
you're not supposed to do nothing. It's a boring day. Oh, you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to
Mm-hmm.
read and study. No, it's a day where you can enter. The gates are
Yep.
wide open.
Absolutely.
The gates are
Absolutely.
wide open for us to come in and sit at the master's feet. So we're
Yep.
talking about downloads. We're talking about epiphanies. We're talking about energies. We're talking about the spirits of your ancestors
Mm-hmm.
returning to visit you. All of the
Yep.
ancient cultures believe this, except Christianity.
Yep.
Oh, my Sabbath is every day, brother. No, your
Yep.
body ain't healing and resting every day.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yep.
not. You're working hard. You're working your butt off every day. You're not. My
Mm-hmm.
Sabbath, Jesus is my Sabbath. Well,
Yeah.
come on, bro. No,
My
that's
football
what they
team is
taught
my
us.
Sabbath. That's my, yeah. Yeah,
That's what they
exactly.
taught us,
Yep.
man. And we were in sync with the portals. We were in sync with the sun, the moon, and the stars,
Mm-hmm.
and we could plan our week and say,
Yep.
"Hey, I can't come over to your house Saturday. Why? Because
Yeah.
I'm going to his house. I'm going to the master's house.
Yep.
You're not coming? You should go with me."
Yep.
All of that's mapped out with the cycles of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about seeing this activity, I went out there on the Sabbath trying to see if I could see, and nothing.
Yep.
There was very,
Absolutely.
very little. There was movement and things, but very little.
Yeah.
But you're
It
talking about what,
just creation chills out. Yeah. Yeah.
and but it's mapped out in the Bible.
Yep. Yep.
It's mapped out. It tells you which days the gates are wide open, which
Mm-hmm.
days we're shut off, which days the plant, which all of it's in there, but we're carnal. And
Yep.
that's a spiritual book we're reading. So we're reading it
Yep.
to our own demise. You're
Yep.
reading about spiritual, supernatural entities, and you think it's talking about humans
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
literal and all that kind of stuff. And literal's cool, trust me, 100%. But we got to be able
Mm-hmm.
to tap in to all of it to understand when you're, because there's certain nights that you're not getting any sleep. If you're tapped
Yeah.
into the spirit, when spirit says, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
get up," I'm telling you, I don't think it's random. I
Last
think it's,
night,
"Hey,
man, 3 o'clock
three,
in the morning, I couldn't
we
go
got
to
a 3
sleep till
a.m.
then.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got a
Yep.
3 a.m. So you ain't got to
Yep.
wake me up, spirit. I'm waking up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. And, and we're suffering because of that. But the scripture tells
Yep.
you that they thought that the Antichrist, the powers that be, thought smart to change the times, the dates, and the laws, and to trick you.
Yep.
Because right when you get woke, even on the Sabbath talk of being a messianic Christian and all those things, you're
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, man, the Sabbath ain't on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday's the day they worship the sun god." That's the trust me. This is the process of waking
Yep.
up from.
Yep.
And I've been there, and people go there, and they're still there.
Yeah.
We worship this.
Yep.
That's on Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday's the Sabbath, and you
Well,
got all
that's
this
Saturn Day, by the way. So, yeah.
Saturn day is the Sabbath, and now
Yep.
you're taking this beautiful truth that God showed you,
Yep.
and you're using it to attack and to ridicule. We're not supposed to do church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sabbath is the Lord's day.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't true worshipers because the only thing that marks you is the Sabbath. I've heard these conversations, and I've probably said it to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once they just giving you a taste every 7 days, and so
Mm-hmm.
you thought Saturday was the real seventh day.
Yep.
You going by the
Absolutely.
Gregorian.
Yep.
Oh, the first day is the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're supposed to go to the lunar calendar and count 7 days for your
Mm-hmm.
month, and
Yep.
that's the Sabbath.
Yep.
And then you go and then you count 7 more days. That's the Sabbath. And then you count the new moon and the full moon. Those are the Sabbaths. So they give us this information to see what we're going to do with it,
Yeah.
and that's why it's off limits to the
Mm-hmm.
to the profane, because they're going to use it to hurt people.
Yeah.
And if you really knew what you were capable of, if you really knew how to pronounce the names of angels and get
Mm-hmm.
them to come here on command, you'll
Mm-hmm.
you'll use it to your own demise.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hurt yourself and others. And
Yep.
and that's why God is protective of his secrets. But when we
Amen.
open our hearts and become love and ask Christ to
Mm-hmm.
live in us and to expand, and we pour our souls out, we pour ourselves out so that Christ may be glorified in our mortal bodies, that we use
Mm-hmm.
this vessel while we're here. That's how you get access to the higher realms. That's how you're woken up in whispers and downloads. That's how you go to sleep with a book laying next to your bed and you wake up and you know
Yeah.
the entire book and you don't even know that you know it
Yep.
until you start reading the book and you're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm. I
I've
knew
been
that. Oh,
dreaming this
wow.
book
That's
every
good.
night sitting next to my
Yep.
bed." This is the
Yep.
level of quantum physics that's explaining all of
Mm-hmm.
this that was in the Bible and all those holy books from day
Yep.
one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, guys, you don't even have to. Um, I got into Hebrew roots really hardcore. I was like, okay, I got to follow this day, and here's all the holidays, and here's what I'm supposed to do. Then you kind of get to a place where you're like, I can feel it. My body can feel it. My consciousness can know it.
Yeah,
You don't even have to have these things marked literally anywhere. It's just an
yeah,
experiential thing. When you need to rest, you need to rest, guys. I've always said it, it's like call into work, do whatever you got to do, chill out. I'm just saying, guys, what do I always say? That job has replaced me over and over and over. So if I need a me day, I need a me day. And if that happens to fall on a work day, I don't follow man's calendar. I follow God's. And that calendar is within me. So I can't tell you what to do with your job, and I'm not liable for anything
Yeah,
you may or may not do. But I'm just saying, for me, I got to take care of me because I'm the temple, and I want to make sure the temple is well in all ways. And I don't want to give away the holy days that I need. There's days we just had the full moon Sunday. I didn't even live stream. I'm supposed to. I didn't even tell anybody I wasn't going to. I just didn't. I was shot, completely
yeah,
zapped of energy. I knew I needed to reboot and receive whatever. And that's where the divine feminine and masculine come in. We have such an inherently masculine society, and there's this feminine energy in all of us that wants to just receive and be humble and be in that place of receipt of all of these energies. And I think that that's something we're really taught away from, because even ladies are empowered by the system to go out, be masculine, achieve all of these things. It's always about the output rather than the receipt of. And we all have feminine and masculine energy. This is not a gender thing. It's
yeah.
literally a spiritual thing. So, what are your experiences with that? Sun, moon, masculine sun, feminine moon, all that's in Enoch too. Love Enoch. Enoch's a big
Yeah.
esoteric place. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, it's big. I think it really, I would say that, hmm, I don't want to use that word. Let me say that we are all of that, right? And more.
Mm-hmm.
And the Christians know this, but they don't. The Christians read this, they teach it, they preach it, but they don't know it. They don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it says that there's neither no more male, no nor female in Christ Jesus, but you are a new creation. And that the angels
Mm-hmm.
are given, they they don't reproduce the way you think that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's these ideas that are mentioned, but we don't fully grasp them. We're also told that we are the bride of Christ, and how weird that was, or God was our husband, or Christ was our husband. And Paul goes on to even begin to use that terminology and says, I've espoused you to one husband. Why do you have five husbands? I didn't do that. I've espoused you but to one husband. He's talking to men, or what we think are men. He's talking to angels, just to be, so you guys want to know. That's all that's angelic conversation. But it's
Mm-hmm.
have, you're an angel too. You're
Mm-hmm.
just in this fallen state. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we receive, we are the Lord's wife. We are
Mm-hmm.
the bride of Christ.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so
Yeah, and all the Hebrew tradition is steeped in the whole wedding and bridegroom thing, and we've kind of turned that into this evangelical, like, we're waiting for the wedding day, and I'm like, the wedding day's here, guys. Like, let's be the bride, actually receive that inheritance from our Father. It's time. Like, everybody's waiting on this magical day, and I just say it's here all the time,
that's how they
guys. Like,
trick you.
it's any day you choose. Like,
That's
it's
how they trick you.
today. Yeah.
All those
Yep.
prophecies have already happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They're happening now, and they're going to happen again in the future. He is the
Yep.
one who was, who is, and is to come. And it is a very much a huge disservice to keep pushing that day and giving that hope, because they keep pushing the goalposts further back.
Mm-hmm.
They keep,
Mm-hmm.
one day, if the Lord tarry, he's coming back soon. And trust me,
Yep.
like, I'm with you. I know there's a shift, and I know when the collective, when he,
Yep.
but that's happening in
Mm-hmm.
us.
Yeah.
We are that. And I know that seems so
Yep.
crazy when we've been brainwashed to look at it literally.
Yep.
When we look at it literally. Um,
And I have a question too, and this is
Go
for
ahead.
everyone in the class. For those in the back of the class right now, I'm in the back of the class all the time. What if prophecy rather than linear time? Linear time is really this 3D construct that we're bound by. We
Mhm.
know that, like, God and all these other entities are totally outside of time. It's not even on the radar. And so, what if prophecy rather than linear is this kind of ellipse that just, it's like this self-perpetuating prophecy. What if Christ returns in every age? What if those prophecies are continually fulfilled on the esoteric level? What if Christ returns within all of his kids? We all wake up, we all ascend, we bring the collective with us, then humanity falls in the garden again, and all these stories are over and over and over. We think about it as one 3D timeline, but what if it's just
Yeah.
the human condition?
Yeah. It is. It is. It's the human consciousness. It is. It's happening on all the dimensions. So it's not just the literal. The church has got us focused on the literal, and if anything, the literal is the last that it
Mm-hmm.
should be on. It should be spiritual. It should be mental. It should
Mm-hmm.
be your anatomy. That's
Mm-hmm.
what but it is physical. Trust me. You are
Oh yeah.
like
Yep.
those scriptures. You should literally do the good things in it. Let's say that
Yeah. Yep.
that you can do with yourself, by yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yep.
how Jesus said to do your magic. That's how any magician does their magic
Yep.
by themselves. When they fast, they don't tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus
Mm-hmm.
says, hey, don't tell these people who I am. My
Yep.
deeds are done in secret, and my Father rewards me openly. When I go sit in the
Absolutely.
sunlight, he rewards me. He
Mm-hmm.
judges me. And so we gotta return back to that. It's
Yeah.
happening in us and around us, being raptured up. The return of the Son of Man returning to you, and what happens when it happened to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happened. It's happening, and it will happen again. And it's going to happen to you. If Christ is in
Absolutely.
you, there's a seed. There's
Yep.
potential in you, and then when
Yep.
that seed begins to take root, and then it starts bringing
Mm-hmm.
forth fruit, you won't be thrown in the fire. Why?
Yep.
Because we're not throwing away good fruit. We're not.
Absolutely.
If somebody's
Yep.
going to eat off of that, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
eat for 1,000 generations off of the fruit that you bear.
Amen.
We're eating right now off of the fruit that Christ bore. Like right now, we're eating that fruit, or not just the disciples, and
Yep.
then whoever else that it got to us, and it
Mm-hmm.
even if it was a fake story, even well, I don't care what your interpretation is.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
I
Does
believe
it
it,
matter? Like, yeah.
He's born
Exactly.
in me and through me. When I ask Him, He shows up. He speaks
Yep.
like it's
Yep.
real. So don't let any narrative
Mm-hmm.
take away your joy. I
Yep.
may rock your boat a little bit, and that's okay. But we don't have it all figured out.
Yep.
Don't never act like you got Bible prophecy, who Jesus is, what the Christ. Come on, when
Mm-hmm.
you stay
Yeah.
apt to, first of all, try to teach anybody anything, you have to be apt to learn. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be. We don't have any of this figured out by any means. We see through a glass darkly for a
Mm-hmm.
reason. There's a reason you can't look at the sun and see the angels. You can't right now. Like you can't go
Yep.
outside and look directly at the sun and see the angels.
Yeah.
You can't. But I tell you what, if
Just
you
say you
cover
want
the
to
sun
see
up,
all of this stuff all the time behind me. Like, we can't even take it in. Like, you can't
you can
handle it
only
for an
handle a
hour, much
glimpse,
less. Yeah. Yep.
but you get used to it.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, when he was dealing with
Mm-hmm.
the man
Mm-hmm.
whose eyes couldn't see,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked with him a little while, and he says, "What do you see now? Do you see men? Do you see things? Men, the east, the angels?" He
Mm-hmm.
said, "I see them, but they look like silhouettes. They're like trees. They're not in focus yet." And he keeps
Mm-hmm.
telling him to look up. This is deep. Look up.
Mm.
Look up. What do you see? What are you looking up at? What's outside when you look up? It's the sun. Keep allowing
Mm.
light to come into your being,
Mm-hmm.
and what you see inside of you will project outside, and you won't see men as trees anymore. At first, you will, but then you'll see them
Mm.
not as you are. You'll see them as they really are, and then
Hmm.
so what it is your eyes begin to focus,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even in doing this in your spiritual practice of sun gazing, or even not just
Mm-hmm.
looking direct, blocking the sunlight out.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe there is a place you can get to where you look directly at the sun and see them. But if you want to see the angels, literally, if
Mm-hmm.
you let your eyes focus and block out the brightest part of the sun and don't look, you can't look directly at the God and live, but you can look at his train. You can look
Mm.
at his train, his glory as he passes by your face, and you can look and see. And if you can but
Mm-hmm.
touch the hem of that garment and look in there and see, if that's what you want, I wanted it. I want it. And I'm
Amen.
able to see it. And like not
That's
even
beautiful.
spiritually, literally with we've
Yeah.
got them on camera.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's beautiful to know that all these things we were reading weren't just imaginary, like they want us to believe, weren't
Yeah.
just like the truth is out there and you know it in your heart, but the external don't match up with the internal. That's where we come in. Somebody said, I wish I was never born too. It was more beautiful where we're at. No, you're changed that. Wherever you go, beauty goes.
Yeah.
Wherever you
Absolutely.
show up, hope goes. So
Yeah.
they can't have you showing up
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
you're gonna tell on everybody. You're not gonna let
Hmm.
nothing negative go down and be a part of these. You become a problem. You become a threat to this system because where we go, life goes.
Yep.
We change things,
Yep.
and the atmosphere changes. As long as you got that light in you,
Hmm.
and you open your mouth and declare and speak or even breathe,
Hmm.
it's coming out of you. What is within you, it comes out, and it's not what goes into a man's mouth that makes him unclean,
But what
but what
comes
comes out. And all the ancients knew this. This is in our Bible, and we're experiencing it. I've been a Christian over 22 years, and and I'm experiencing that this stuff is His mercies are new, the scriptures are new every morning, and I'm just now finally understanding what some things mean, at least what they mean to me right now, or at the next level up.
yeah. Yeah.
And you have to be trusted. You have to be faithful with the few, and He'll make you ruler over more. So
Amen.
know that everything is dimensional. Everything has something deeper behind it.
That's beautiful, man. Well, hey, before we jump off, for any noobs that are out there, and I say noobs, you could have been vibing on the spirituality stuff for 20 years and never actually stepped into practicing it. You may have been a Christian your whole life. You may have been agnostic, atheist. If you're just like, hey, this is my year, 2023, I'm ready to go to the next level. What are some actionable things that you would suggest? Like, if somebody were to hit you up and be like, hey, what do I do? I'm ready to like what would you suggest for people? Some practical things to start practicing here.
Get in the sun
Cool.
consciously, like you
Yeah.
said, like pray,
Mm-hmm.
meditate, read, whatever you're doing. If you're doing anything, do it in the sun. And
Amen.
but don't just do it like, okay, I'm in the sun. Now what? Like
Yeah. Oh, I
feel
got a
that
sunburn.
connection.
Great. That's fun. Yeah.
Feel the sun rays. You can feel the warmth of the sun.
Yeah.
And it is a ray. There's a
Mm-hmm.
ray that comes directly to you that you can feel. And you can
Yep.
actually move your hand by it and you can feel it. It's a wave of energy that's
Yep.
coming directly from the sun to you. And you can
Yep.
move your hand and you can feel it. So when you see this, I'm
Mm-hmm.
out there. This is me all day. When I
Mm-hmm.
can't look at the sun, but I can block it out with these fingers and bring it into
Mm-hmm.
view
Mm-hmm.
and actually block out the peripheral, man, this is me
Mm-hmm.
all day with the sun in it for sure.
Yep.
Illuminati, you damn right. Illuminated with the light of
Illuminate. I
Christ.
talked about that today. Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Guys,
So
we
that's not,
are light bearers. We are light bringers. We are, everybody wants to throw around the term Luciferian, the bearer of light. Like, that's what we're doing. I'm a light worker. It's in my profile. That's what we want to
yeah.
do. We want to illuminate people's hearts and minds. That's the whole point of this.
It's it's the box that they give it to us in.
Yep.
We don't like Lucifer because they told us he was the devil or Satan. He's not. And we
Yep.
don't like Luciferians because they worship Lucifer because he's the devil, and so they're the devil.
Yep.
And then,
Yep.
but we like Luke. We
Yeah.
like Luke,
Yeah.
the Saint Luke.
Yeah.
We like
True.
Saint Luke, and
Yep.
nobody has no idea
Yep.
what the hell his name means. And hey, there's a Lou in it. There is a
True.
Lou.
Very true.
His
Very
name
true.
his name means those who
Yep.
practice their ritual in the sunlight.
Yeah.
They go into the
Absolutely.
forest and do their rituals openly. Go to
Wow.
go to
Yeah.
etymology. Go
Yeah.
look it up. It's one who practices his rituals in the light, opposed to
Mm.
directly opposed to those who go into the forest to do their ritual by torch. They have to bring a light
Mm.
with them because they
Gotcha.
don't have the light. They can't sit in the light
Amen.
and
Yeah.
do what they do
Yeah.
with the clean conscience. They have
Yep.
to hide. They have to have
Yep.
cloaks on. They have to be hidden. Because,
Yep.
but what we got to do, I'm telling you, this is what you do. You take your damn shirt off. You
Mm-hmm.
pull your shorts up. Like
Yep.
I'm telling you, like I'm not
Yep.
being silly. I'm
Yep.
being 1,000 with you.
Yeah.
Go
Yep.
out there and do it and say,
Mm-hmm.
speak, Father, your
Mm-hmm.
servant, your son, your daughter,
Yep.
your friend. I'm here. I love
Yep.
you. Thank you for breath. Thank you for life. Thank you for sending
Yep.
me. Move your heart into gratitude and watch what happens.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I'm
You want to
telling you.
match that frequency of the sun and start vibing with it is project gratitude. And I often just really practically put my hand over my heart, just try to feel that heart energy. And it is the weirdest thing. You can just feel the pulse of the sun and you almost start beating with that rhythm of it. It's the weirdest. And somebody's in the comments right now, sun worship is of the devil, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, we're going to go get in the sun and get the benefits of it and have
Well, there's a
gratitude,
reason. There's a reason King David woke up
yeah, yeah,
before the sun. Every spiritual person in the Bible told you to
yep,
wake up and beat the sun. And there's a
yep,
reason in Jerusalem that their rooftops were flat. And there's a
yeah,
reason why King David prayed to the east
yep,
when he prayed, and as the sun rose. And there's a reason why Jesus says to allow the day
mm-hmm,
star to dawn in your heart.
yep,
Because as that
yep,
sun's rising, listen, if you've been up drinking and partying all night to 3 o'clock, you're not waking up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7.
yep,
Like you're not getting a degree. You get up way later, right?
mm-hmm,
So it
mm-hmm,
ties into those who do their deeds
yep,
at night versus those who
yep,
go out there in the daytime.
mm-hmm,
I feel like I
yep,
told you or shared with the audience the last time because it's beautiful. I want to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Broken
mm-hmm,
record, but the word and that ties into in the New Testament. Paul says, "Listen, we are not as those who corrupt the word of God. We are not
mm-hmm,
as those who do that, but we are of those who do it of sincere heart. We are of all sincerity. Look this up for yourself if you don't believe
mm-hmm,
me. We are those of all sincerity. The Greek word for sincerity means we are those who sit in the sunlight and that we have been judged by the rays of God's sun. We allow the rays of the
mm-hmm,
sun to judge us.
mm-hmm.
That's what sincerity means in the New
Beautiful,
Testament in the Greek. It's
beautiful,
hidden from you.
mm-hmm,
And we've been
yep,
told to demonize the very thing
yep.
that we need.
Just like the word of God is actually the logos, which is the computation or the divine expression. And everybody wants to take it literally and say, no, this is the word of God. This is the word of God. No, it was written in Greek. It was written in Hebrew. It was written in whatever, guys, come on. It's all here. It's all here. Well,
That's
man,
that's it.
that's, yeah. Dude, thank you. Thank you for being here. And I got a lot of people
Thanks for having me,
asking,
bro.
where is this going to be reposted? I've had like 10 people ask that. I will repost this on my YouTube. I will post it on Apple, Spotify, Facebook. It'll be everywhere. Derek, are you going to post it anywhere on yours?
Yeah, same
Okay.
thing. Yeah, I'll
Same
post
thing.
it on
Okay.
YouTube, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I know a lot
And
of
vice
people wanted to
versa, you guys
share it.
got to
And
follow. You guys got to follow him. All my people, make sure you follow him. I'm getting the thing in the comments here is like, follow the host. Follow the host. Yeah, go follow this brother, man. He
awesome.
works hard at what he does, and he's full of light, and that makes the difference. The
Well,
light.
thank
People
you,
share
brother.
knowledge and esoteric wisdom
Yeah.
to disprove, and because they have a ought and a grudge against God or the
Mm-hmm.
church or their
Mm-hmm.
grandparents who whatever. But when you
Right.
share it out of the abundance of your heart, the mouth speaks, and that's what Jacob's doing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta support, you gotta honor these people, and when you do, God honors you. I'm telling you, 100%. A share, a like, buying a T-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
sending money, praying for him. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
all of that
Yeah.
is honoring, and give where you get your blessings. Because if you do it, I'm telling you, the spirits honor you. The
Amen.
angels honor you. God
Yeah.
honors you. Nobody has to know. They're not supposed to know. That's the magic. They're
That's
not
right. Yeah.
supposed to know. The scriptures tell you
Yeah.
that. Love
Absolutely,
you,
man.
brother. Thanks for having me, man.
Love you, man. And
Thank
you
you so
guys
much.
go
Bro.
follow him at TruthSeekah. How do you spell that? Just for
Just put
anybody
an
that's new.
AH, TruthSeekah. Yeah.
TruthSeekah with an AH. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand my artwork. I had pretty artwork for today, but TikTok does not want it. They want to like put their watermark on the background here, I think. So but yeah, and then www.truthseekah.com. You've got your music on there. You've got your private programs on there. You have a course too, don't you? That people
Yeah,
can go
we have a
through.
couple of courses that we
Okay.
roll out on
Cool.
identity and being able to
Awesome.
pursue your dreams and those things. Yeah.
Good, good, good. Yeah, y'all go check him out, support him, whatever you can do. I listen to him all the time. He's on my regular YouTube feed, and you wouldn't believe how weird it is. All of these spiritual YouTubers and TikTokers that I'm a part of, like we're all vibing on the same things. It's just the same frequency coming through, and everybody has their own little
Yep.
revelations and their own little corners and their own special work. But it's pretty cool, man. So
The
yeah,
only thing for me that links us together, like I can learn from you, but it's the love. They'll know that you're my disciples by your love one for another.
yes,
And so we
yes,
recognize love, even if your
absolutely.
doctrine's messed up and you believe weird. So listen,
Yep,
what's your
yep,
love like? We're
yep.
family. It's what it is.
Yep. And Jesus said, I didn't come to call the righteous, but the compassionate. So, absolutely. Go love people, change the world, guys. So, thank you for being here, my brother. I love you, my
Yes, sir.
friend.
I love you, man.
Yeah, you have a beautiful day. And thank you, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace, peace.